Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. Exciting day, big day. Releasing my big board with this video. In the description of the video, in the first comment of the video, and also pinned to my Twitter/X account, you can find the big board. We'll leave a community note as well, just so others can see it who don't watch this video. But big day, the big board is released. It is a Raven-centric big board. You can find that only here on Huddle It Up Films. And I wanted to do a video just to go over the big board real quickly and give you guys some notes and some information as to what's happening on the channel. The same as last year, the big board will be on the first tab, all the players mixed together in order with the Ravens in mind. That hasn't changed. Also, there'll be a second tab listing the players, their rankings by position. So all the running backs will be ranked 1 through whatever, same with every position. So you can look at them by positional rankings and not just all jumbled together on the big board. Also added a third tab this year, which is the Ravens depth chart, and just basically lining up the offense and the defense, seeing where the holes on this roster are, seeing where the Ravens lack depth, because this is a depth draft and the Ravens have 11 picks. So we are going to be filling out that chart as the draft goes along. Going to be coming at you from draft day, and of course this board will be updated throughout the process. So as I do my studying, some freelance studying, the most of the work is done, but I'm going to go back, do some last checks, compare this player against that player, and make some adjustments, move some guys up the board, down the board. Typical of every year, I'm going to make adjustments until that last Monday, the week of the draft, where I just set the board and forget about it, try to relax and not make any last minute rash decisions. So we'll be updating throughout the process. If you have any names to suggest, guys, I should study, looking forward to your feedback. Who do I have too high? Who do I have too low? In your opinion, make your case for your guy. It's all the fun in the draft. Also want to explain what the Raven-centric angle, how it applies this year. Now, this year, the Ravens only lost 3 starters. There's 2 positions. It's Brandon Stevens in the outside cornerback room and Trenton Simpson/Chris Board at that second linebacker spot. So what does that mean? The Ravens have very few holes compared to last year as far as their frontline starters. So this board is more best player available ranked than normal. Of course, the premium positions, the positions that you have to pay a lot of money towards, will be ranked a little bit higher. That all goes into it. But really, the Ravens don't have a ton of needs, so this draft is more BPA than usual. The one exception I would say that sticks out amongst all the others is it would floor me. It would shock me if the Ravens took a running back with their first round pick. I believe Jamal Lewis a quarter century ago was the only time the Ravens did pick a running back in the first round. And of course, the Ravens already have Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell on the board. So when you're looking for Ashton Genty and Marion Hampton, those guys will be faded down this Raven-centric draft board because, quite frankly, I can't see the Ravens drafting a running back in the first round. Other than that, you'll see slight changes or slight adjustments, which are tailored to the Ravens team. I think edge rusher is a good example of that. The Ravens like their edge rushers to be able to stand up. So, usually they're 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds-ish. The hand in the dirt, oversized defensive ends. Really, the Ravens haven't drafted them a lot in the past. They like guys who can stand up and get after the quarterback. So a guy like Jordan Birch, for example, if you guys are familiar with him, he's going to be a little bit lower on this Raven-centric board than he would be on a pure 4-3 team who doesn't have those stand-up outside linebackers. I want to go ahead and explain the tiers very quickly to you. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with them, and they're pretty self-explanatory. But the first tier on the board are the true first-round draft grades. And in this draft, this is where the draft is weak. This is really the only part of the draft that's weak. I only have 2 players that fall into that category, non-quarterbacks, of course. Lamar Jackson's on the team, and that is Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State, and Travis Hunter, the cornerback/wide receiver from Colorado. Those 2 guys, true first-round grades, and the way I was taught way back in the day is that they would be first-round draft picks in any draft. They would be safely in the first round. And if you took the last 2 to 3 drafts and put them all together, those guys would still be safely first-round draft picks. So I have Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter in that range. And, they're basically prospects that are impact players, high ceiling, high floor. Injuries aside, situation aside, off-field stuff aside, there's no way these guys won't be major players in the NFL. Only two. The second tier is the lighter green. Those are the players predicted to go in the first round, and that's pretty self-explanatory. This is the next tier, the highest tier you can get other than the top. Players who are probably going to go in the first round, and of course they are listed, as you see on the screen, in the Ravens order. The order I think the Ravens would take them. This year there are 21, as of this release of this video, players predicted to go in the first round per my board. Last year 22, so very similar. The next tier is in that orange right there. It's guys who've received a true second round grade. True second round grade are guys who project as plus starters at the next level, or heavy rotational guys, or the top of the rotation for positions that rotate, like defensive line or your edge rushers. But these are plus starters. In this draft, I have 49. Last year, 50. So again, about a similar number. The next tier down are guys who are predicted to go on day 2. Again, this is in my opinion. These are guys that I think are going to go in either round 2 or round 3 of this draft, and won't slip till day 3. That is the purple section. Added a purple section this year because this section of players is usually so large that I wanted to break it up into 2 between the purple and the blue section, which are guys who will go on day 2, and the goes that last to day 3 will be day 3 value picks. Be happy to get those guys on day 3. There are 112 such players. That is up from last year when there was 106 players. So more draftable players, more value in this draft, I think, slightly than last year, as far as guys who have the upside to become starters. Maybe they're developmental and it will take them a couple of years. But 112 guys, and those are the guys we're really going to target in this draft. There's 112. They will fall. Some will slip through the cracks. Come round 4, come round 5, come round 6 even. There will be players still from that 112. So this is the really important tier. Those first 112 players draft are listed on the draft board. Last 2 tiers, the draftable players and the guys that I believe would be priority UDFAs if they made it undrafted. So just splitting the players up there into 2 categories, slightly different value, but the same basic principle, just the players that made the board. By the way, I had 197 players originally scheduled to be on the board. There are only 192 slots on the board. So I cut it down and trimmed that number down to where it sits today at 189 players in total on the board. Want to talk about our draft content. I'm going to go live on Mondays at 9 o'clock with some draft content, live shows. I'll try to put out notes and remind everybody. So be sure to set your notifications for the draft content. I'll have some guests on, and we'll just go over some what's been happening in the draft, what players I like, what players moved up and down the board. Be taking comments from you guys to get the. So I hope that you all tune in, support the show. We're going to start going live as of this Monday. Also, draft coverage. We will be doing the same thing. We'll be coming at you day 1 and day 2, maybe even a little day 3, because the Ravens have so many day 3 picks. Just be a matter of how I'm feeling and what kind of guests I can get on. But we will have special guests day 1, day 2. So be sure to tune in here as we update the big board, take names off the list as they get drafted, and talk about who the Ravens should pick with their draft pick. Just talk about the draft in general. It'll be a great time. I thank all you guys who have supported throughout the years. Also, just wanted to mention all the highlights, as you guys know, have been done. You can find them in the videos tab of my YouTube channel. It's the bread and butter pretty much of my YouTube channel. And it was a lot of fun. It feels good to get all the comments from you guys, all the feedback, all what you're noticing on that tape. Feels good to highlight players like offensive linemen and defensive guys who don't get to rack up a lot of stats, just showing what they do for this organization, what their role is, and to help build expectations for them coming the year. So really appreciate everybody's support on the highlights, and let them keep you busy throughout the summer as we're waiting for this 2025 Ravens season to approach. Hopefully we'll have a good draft. Hopefully we fill out this roster, and hopefully this is the year where we finally push it over the top, get to the Super Bowl, and win the whole damn thing. So with that, I want to say thank you to my football family. Love my football family. Please like this video Share it if you see it online. Let's pump it up. Feel free to share the big board. I will see you guys on there, and we'll see you guys on Monday nights talking about this draft and updating the board. Thank you.